Man. We are live. We are live. Welcome to College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Flugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do us well, please subscribe to our channel. Smash the like button if you like our content. Share the video with your family and friends. If you want to donate to help support this college football's rebel outpost, the home for the college football sickos, with a donation, hit the dollar sign where you make a comment, and I'll get to your super chat as quick as I possibly can. Welcome everybody into the studio that sits on the corner, the very corner of Keith Jackson Parkway and Kurt Gowdy Avenue. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to become a legend with your comments and with your phone calls. I'm very pleased that T-shirt fan put up the comment. Thank goodness someone will finally fight the Big Ten power grab. I am pleased that T-shirt fan posted that, because I've been getting a lot of that today. Well, Greg, you know, the Big Ten and the SEC, all the power that they have. We need solutions. Oh yeah, we need solutions. And guess what? We're not getting them. I've been ragging on Silent Tony forever. I've been bashing Greg Sankey forever. This morning I was called a Big Ten mouthpiece in the comment section of yesterday's live show. Big Ten mouth. I am person non grata. I can't even get an invitation to the Big Ten Media Days because of what we did in the spring and summer of 2022. How do I even... Let me start this. The Big Ten power grab, right? The Big Ten and the SEC has a whole lot of power. And then, by the way, the Big 12 and the ACC, they have way more power than the other G5, G6 conferences, right? Correct? Right? Correct? We have this governance model that was just all agreed to, right? In which the four autonomy conferences have 65% of the power when it comes to a whole lot of decisions not involving the college football playoffs. And if you get all four conferences agreeing, they're going to be able to pass these changes in college sports. Is that terrible? I don't know, but it is what these conferences and schools agreed upon. Is that a power grab? Is that a power grab by the ACC and the Big 12? Okay. Let me describe something here. We are about to have one transfer portal window in the month of January, and it might be January 2nd to January 11th. It might be. But that is being passed, that we're going to have a January portal window. Guess who's against it? Guess what conference is against it? The Big Ten. The Big Ten is against it. But guess what? Guess what, T-shirt fan? This is what the Big Ten agreed to. This governance model. And the Big Ten is at the short end of the stick on this. Oh, and by the way, here we go. Bruno Sabisco, Larry Sabisco, and Bruno Sammartino. The Big Ten are not very good outside a few teams. There is no competitive distance on the whole. I don't know what that has to do with anything. Let me get back. And this Big Ten power grab, this SEC power grab, well, at least it's out in the open, right? The Big Ten and the Southeastern Conference has the power with the college football playoff model, correct? To change it how they see fit. For the most part. They get more money in playoff distribution. It's all out in the open. It's transparent. It's all out in the open, guys. We've been talking about this for 3 years. The Big Ten, the SEC, the Big 12, the ACC, they're all looking out for their own interests. These conferences have been making decisions for the Big Ten. For the Big Ten, they've been making decisions since 1896. The Big 12, they poached the Pac-12. The Big Ten, they poached the Pac-12. The SEC, they poached the Big 12. The Big 12 is making plans to poach the ACC if they can do it. The ACC poached the Big East. Everyone is looking out for their best interests. That is out in the open. There is no secret to that. A lot of cloak and dagger. But it's out in the open. And finally today, we've got the Cody Campbell plan. And it is what I thought, but it's even a little worse than I thought. But it is basically what I said after reading that letter in the USA Today. I've been asking, what is Cody Campbell's plan? Because it sure looks like the building of a Super League. But not because the schools it's not because the schools want to be in a Super League. That's not the mechanism under this Cody Campbell plan. Nope, it's not. Remember, Texas and Oklahoma called the Southeastern Conference. It was their choice. When Colorado was at the center of the stage, they got in that meeting with the Big 12. The Colorado president on May 7th, 2023 in Chicago, Illinois, they met with the Big 12. It was Colorado's decision. There have been universities that had to make decisions that they did not feel comfortable with, but they had to make those decisions. Not by government decree. Not by government decree. The Big Ten made the Big Ten Network. It was a gamble. And over 90% of the people thought it was absolutely nuts, including the college football reporters at the time. It worked. Oh, but that's all going to get erased now by government decree? I said, when I put this on my X account at Flug Empire, when I put the link, I also said, this. We finally got the details, and it's even worse than I thought. The ultimate power grab by governmental forces. The ultimate power grab in all of college football, a government-controlled Super League. I'm not taking a personal shot at Cody Campbell. This is not a shot at Texas Tech. This is not a shot at the ACC, the American, Conference USA, the Big Ten, and the SEC. I am giving you my honest-to-God opinion about a subject we've been talking about here at Peek Around the Corner. I knew this was coming. I did a live show about 3 or 4 months ago where I said the Big Ten is at war. People laughed at me. They're not laughing anymore. There are forces out there that are looking to take down the Southeastern Conference in the Big Ten by using government forces. This Super League, this magical Super League that is going to work for everybody. It's going to save everything. And who are going to be making these decisions? Who are going to be making these decisions? Not presidents, not athletic directors. Some independent government body that, if Cody Campbell would like, would not be affiliated with any conferences or schools. And they would have the power. We are going to go through it. Ross Dellinger put out an article this morning. We are going to go through it. Cody Campbell would want this independent body, governing body, to have the power to change the conferences. They make them regional. They make it so rivalries come back together. Every decision is out of the hands of the schools and the conferences? Really? Really? And everybody going under one umbrella? One umbrella to negotiate a media package? And Greg Sankey says, and everybody says, Greg Sankey says, well, it's going to be tough to do because we got a contract to 2034, and the Big Ten's got one to 2030, and the Big 12 got to 2030, and the ACC has their Tier 1 contract out to 2036. And this is Cody Campbell's plan to attack that. Well, we'll just buy out those media companies. We'll buy all them out. And we'll use private equity to do so. That's his plan. Private equity to buy out current media contracts. Really. So, going under this new umbrella, this new one negotiating umbrella that's supposed to represent I don't know how many schools, divvied it up in I don't know how many different conferences or divisions. And we already have to go in the hole because we're going to use private equity to buy out of these current contracts. That is your plan. This is why we were not getting the details. I've been wondering, I've been saying, where is the details? We got them. Yahoo Sports got them. Ross Dellinger got them. These ideas are part of the amendment to change the SCORE Act. This plan is basically government leading, having control over the governing body, the independent governing body, and dictating everything. Everything. This is the plan. Really. A lot of this is exactly what I thought it was going to be, but it's a little bit worse. That private equity thing, man, are you kidding me? I said, if you're not in the Big Ten or the SEC, a government super league sounds less bad. Really? Really? How many schools are going to be part of the Super League? Yeah, are they going to bring Western Michigan in? Are they going to bring Liberty in? Does this plan sound good for them? This is the Rudy Project, guys. This is the Rudy Project. But with government controlling more than what the Rudy Project spelled out. The Rudy Project completely undercutted the G5 schools. I said on X, I'm not looking to be no question, this is going to be the most unpopular live show we've ever done, but probably the one that is most needed. I said at the time, the passing of the SCORE Act was about a 14-point underdog. Plus 14. And then a couple days ago, I brought it down to plus 6.5. Little bit less than the touchdown underdog for passage. With this news of this plan, now I got the score act down to plus 5. Still the underdog, probably still won't pass, but this is only going to help the score act. In fact, when we go through the Ross Dellinger article, there's a part in there where it even says Big 12 and ACC, there are presidents, athletic directors that want to get the score act passed and then look at the broadcasting part of it. But Cody Campbell and his people, they want this independent governing body running everything. They want it passed along with the Broadcasting Act of 1961. And supposedly, we're all going to make more money. Everyone's going to make more money. Everyone's going to make more money. The SEC is going to make more money, he says. But there might not even be an SEC. Because the SEC will not have the power anymore to maintain their conference. They won't have any decision. Okay, now it's out in the open. Now it's out in the open. And I'm reading the comments here. I'm reading the comments. A lot of you want a government-controlled college sports. And I'm going to respect that opinion. If you want to put it in the chat, if you want to put it in the super chats, go ahead. If you want to give me a call and support it, go ahead. But now we know what to call it, right? We know what this is now. This is a government-controlled, breaking up the conferences, creating a super league out of some government decree. That's what this is. If you don't believe it, let's go through Ross Dellinger's article right now. But first, let me go to Moen After Dark. Thank you so much for the super chat. We now know what this is. We know what the plan is. New children's book by Greg Flugar, Everybody Poaches. Thank you for the $5 holla. And and volume 2 is going to be The Government Poaches. That's what volume 2 is going to be. Thank you for the super chat, Mo. Appreciate it. Tony Mazio, thank you for becoming a new member of PATC. You, sir, are officially knighted. Cloak and Dagger. Cloak and Dagger. Expedition Greg, thank you for the $2 holla. I do appreciate it so very much. Thank you for your generosity, Expedition Greg. Let me go through a roll call real quick. A lot of people upset with me because I've been asking this question. We got the details. It lines up exactly what I told you guys. It's even a little worse. But basically, fundamentally, this is about control. And there are forces out there that are, a lot of money is in back of it. They want the government to rip it all up and create something, and the government controls it. Not the schools, not the conferences, and they want private equity money to pay to rip up the current media contracts. And who is going to owe what on ripping up those media contracts going into private equity? Quite possibly. Quite possibly. No, it isn't possibly. In my humble opinion, just my opinion, this is the worst idea I've ever heard. The worst idea I've ever heard in my life. when it comes to college football. And I think there's no way in God's green earth this is a chance. But a lot of you support it. You support a government-run college sports, not just Olympics, baby, not just Olympics. But you're willing to rip it all up and have government-controlled college sports. Wow. Check It Out is in the house. Kenneth Maynard is here. Ryan Willie, Movie Time Brews, Kenneth Strom, This Healing, Florida, The Alternative Hypothesis, John Grove, Yogi Buck Sr. is in the house. Florida Man is here. Illini Ted is here. Adam, MGC Sooner is here. Michael Smith, thanks for coming on in. Colorado Buffalo, come on in. JB is here. Ben White, Tom DeBay, thanks for coming on in. Bryce Phillips, appreciate it. Appreciate it, Bryce Phillips coming on in. Like, Western Michigan would make $14 million under the new proposal plan. Ohio State around 150. Nobody knows that. How could anybody know that? I know that is, nobody could possibly know that. You see, you want to figure out how much, you want to do this, you want to figure out how much these schools would make if you combined, if you bundled up content. Okay, let's get it to where these conferences can bundle up their content and sell it at one and see how much every school makes. Let's do that first before we give control over to the government when it comes to this independent body. There's no reason to do both at the same time. If this is just about making more money, give the ability for the 10 FBS conferences to bundle their content together and sell it on the open market as one. Give them that control. If this is all about money, give them that. Or if the Big 12 and ACC want to bundle it up, or if the Big 10 and the SEC wants to bundle it up, or if the G5 conference wants to bundle it up. But that's not what this is about. That's not what this plan is about. It really isn't. Because if that's what this was about, then we would be flipping the 1961 Broadcasting Act, and then looking at some new government body. In other words, pass the SCORE Act and pass the 1961. We've talked about it. You can do both at the same time. But Cody Campbell, and it's not just Cody, but Cody Campbell and his forces, they want the power out of the president's, athletic directors, the conferences, the institutions' hands. Where do they want to put that power? They want to put it in the government. That's their plan. We're going to go through it. If it was just about the money, they would deal with the 1961 Broadcasting Act alone. But it ain't. It ain't about the money. It's about control. Vox Quindaro is in the house. Stephen Vitt is in the house. Christopher Hooter is here. Don Scruggs, Jeff Olson, James Davis, Jago Blue, SEC. And yeah, and these media and these And these media companies, they don't want these contracts to be ripped up. Even though some private equity would pay out these media companies, they don't want these. They're making money on these deals. And you're going to rip it up? Are they going to come back to you and give you a better deal? It's just unbelievable. Okay. A lot of you are going, what the hell are you talking about, Greg? Okay, here we go, guys. And by the way, have you noticed? Oh, I don't want to go down this road, but someone's got to say it. I'm going to say it. I'm going to get everybody mad at me, but since this is already the most unpopular college football YouTube channel in the country, have you noticed since Ross Dellinger has put out this article that we are about to go through, that nobody's taking shots at the idea? None of the college football reporters are mocking the idea? Right? They're not having emergency podcasts. They're not writing their articles mocking the idea of a government-controlled college sports. Yep. They're not mocking the idea of an independent governing body being able to rip up conferences, rip up schedules, rip up conference networks, and producing something that's supposed to be kumbaya and everybody's happy with it and more money for everybody. Not one college football reporter has gone after this idea, mocked the idea, disagree with the idea. It tells you a lot. It tells you a lot. It says a lot. Well, there are no strings attached. No strings attached. We go after the Big Ten. We go after whoever we disagree with. We agree, we disagree. We disagree, we agree. But we are nobody's mouthpiece. And in my strongly held opinion, this is absurd on so many levels. So many levels. And yet not one college football reporter even wants to say their opinion on it. You know, when the idea of a 24-team college football playoff was leaked out there, all these college football reporters could not, they all leaped out in front saying, this is absurd, this is dumb, this is horrible, it's going to ruin college football. They couldn't help themselves. They all got in front of the camera. They all had emergency broadcasts. They all made fun of Tony Petita. They went on and on and on. But this, if this idea even gain any traction, which I don't see how it can, but if it did, this would be the trigger from PATC changing the college football DEFCON 2 to DEFCON 1. If this gains any traction at all, because there is no way in hell that the Big Ten and the SEC are not going to break away if this actually even has a chance of coming true. So if you want a breakaway, which I don't, and I've been railing against it forever, but if you want a breakaway, go support Cody Campbell's government power grab. Support it. Help fund it. Move it along. Call your senator, call your congressman, congresswoman, get it done. If you want a breakaway to happen, support Cody Campbell's plan, because that's how ridiculous it is. Okay, here we go. Ross Dellinger, what if the NCAA did not exist? Proposed amendments to bill have federal agency governing college sports. Proposed amendments to have federal agencies governing college sports. Just for a few seconds, imagine if the NCAA did not exist, and in its place is the government. What if a federally commissioned corporation governed college athletics with the power to create rules such as transfer limitations for college athletes, and enforce recruiting policies, including prohibit tampering, inducements, blah, blah, blah. Everything that everybody wants a governing body to have power over. It doesn't have to be the NCAA. You can call it a different name. You can call it the College Sports Commission. Prohibitions on tampering and inducements. We all need that. But for some reason, for this to work, for it to be trusted, we need to give it over to a government body? Come on, man. Even more significant is this new entity's ability to reorganize conferences, negotiate consolidated media rights for all schools, and control the distribution of those revenues, the ability to reorganize conferences. In other words, let's just cut to the chase. I'm too old. I am too old to waste time. This is a Super League. They can manufacture a Super League by government decree, taking the decisions out of schools and conferences, taking the decisions out of media companies who are investing in these conferences, media content. Well, as it turns out, these things are actually on the table. To be more clear, these things are or were on the table as proposed changes to the SCORE Act. The piece of congressional legislation working its way through the House of Representatives, the edits to the bill were proposed by those at the nonprofit organization Saving College Sports, an entity created this year by Texas billionaire businessman Cody Campbell. Cody Campbell, in that letter in USA Today, doesn't want the antitrust exemption power to go to the NCAA. He wants to go and give it to a new independent governing body. And my question was, independent from whom? And we got the answer today, independent from schools and conferences. In other words, the government runs it, baby. The government runs it. We obtained a copy of the proposed edits, or what those on Capitol Hill described as a red line draft of legislation incorporating the new suggested language from the SCS, Saving College Sports. Back to the edits. Made in July, were not accepted by House leadership. A reason in part that a vote has been delayed, as Campbell mounted a campaign that swung enough House Republicans off the bill. But why were those edits so important? For one, they are drastically changes to the current college sports governance structure, and they strike at the heart of much of the disagreement among Republicans and Democrats over college sports legislation. Does the NCAA and conferences oversee the industry's future, or is it an independent entity? An independent entity. In other words, an independent entity. Who is in this independent entity? And they've got all the power to make all these decisions. So schools and conferences, that they don't have any more power? Really? Let's get to the details of the proposed language. The edits established the United States Collegiate Athletics Corporation as a congressionally chartered corporation to govern the industry, replacing the NCAA, a congressionally chartered corporation. The USCAC would govern through a board of former athletes in school constituents and shall operate with limited government oversight. Right. According to the proposed language, the USAC would be charged with establishing modernized rules for recruiting, transfer policies, and eligibility. We can't have a body that has to answer to the schools and conferences that has this power. We got to give it over to some congressionally chartered committee. Am I even living in this world anymore? I had to take my wife this morning. I know what? I can't go down that road. Let's just say we went to the Maple Grove, Hennepin County DMV today. We were there for 2.5 hours. Protecting women's and Olympic sports, negotiating and distributing media rights revenue with the goal and aim of sustaining in each division maximum participation and financial sustainability. And 4, assessing a reorganization plan for conferences while considering regional, traditional rivalries, parity, travel, and media exposure. Those against this plan describe it as a government takeover, led by a Texas Tech booster with enough riches to sway the minds of lawmakers, especially those who are cash-strapped in a re-election campaign. Campbell waves off such accusations. While he acknowledges some level of government oversight, Campbell says the USCAC, who's just going to have more beautiful people than the NCAA. The USCAC, who's just going to be a body that is going to be more brighter, more smarter, more ethical than the people that the presidents and the conferences could promote into a body. The USCAC, a congressional chartered corporation, would operate without federally appropriated funds. Who's going to fund it? Who's going to fund this? And the board members would include conference representatives and athletes, but it leaves open the door for the board to be completely independent and unaffiliated with schools or conferences. Cody Campbell leaves the door open for the board to be completely independent and unaffiliated with schools or conferences. A Super League. This is, like I said a couple of days ago, like I said last week, like I said the week before, all of this is a Super League government takeover of college football. If you want that, then you be for this. And again, I respect everybody's opinion on this. I do. I don't agree. I don't agree with a lot of you, but I respect it. And your opinion on this is going to be taken. I'm going to read off the comments, the super chats. I'm going to take your phone calls. But let's get this perfectly out there in the open. The Cody Campbell plan is a Super League government takeover of college football. That's what this is. If you want this, go ahead. Support it. Fund it. Call your senator, your congressman. Call the school that you love, that you support, that you buy football tickets to, basketball tickets to, track and field tickets to, wrestling events ticket to. Go support. Do whatever you need to do. And this next comment, if I was driving my beat up car, what I called my bucket of bolts, if I was driving this car and the little general read this next part off to me, I would have taken the steering wheel and I would have yanked it and I would have said, Jesus, take over, as we head into a bridge embankment. This next part just absolutely blew my mind. I don't think the government should realign conferences. Oh, thank you so much, Cody Campbell. But if you eliminate the economic incentives to have a transcontinental conference, the schools are going to do what makes sense, Campbell says in an interview this week about Bill Edits. The conferences are incentivized to have a team in every time zone now, but pull all the media rights together and they don't have that same incentive. No! That's not true. Yes, having a larger bandwidth for your conference in other time zones, yes, that is an incentive to create money. That is true. It works. That's why the Big 12 did it. That's why the Big 10 did it. But that's why the NFL does it. The NFL goes over, they do all their stuff under one umbrella, right? They share all the media money, right? That's what these conferences more or less do. And they cover every region of the conference except for the Southeastern Conference. But the USC joined the Big Ten because it was best for USC. And it was best for the media partners. That's the point. The one region conference of the Pac-12 was, with all due respect to the great institutions of the Pac-12, and I'm talking the former Pac-12. I'm talking the Pac-12 that had USC, UCLA, Washington State, Washington, Arizona State, Colorado. That Pac-12, great football, basketball, great sports, But having it in one region sucked for the media partners. Absolutely was horrific. And it isn't gonna, just because you put it out all under one umbrella, those media partners are going to want to have UCLA, USC, Washington, and Oregon. They're going to want to have those teams play teams in the Midwest and on the East Coast, because it brings them more money and it brings those schools more money. Okay. The theory: consolidate rights into one more valuable package worth 2 to 3 times the current rate, according to expert projections. In other words, the theory is that everybody negotiates under one umbrella. Distribute that new revenue to schools in a different, more equal way, thus supplying them with enough revenue to both maintain women's and Olympic sports, reorganize conferences perhaps, it's unbelievable, and create more equal competitive footing among the leagues as opposed to the current glaring gaps. Most notably, the revenue separation between the SEC and the Big Ten versus everyone else. Is the gap going to close between the MAC and the Big 12? Is the gap going to close between the Sun Belt and the ACC? Are those revenue gaps going to close up a bit? No, they're not. No, they're not. It's almost like this plan has been written by a booster representing Texas Tech, which is fine for him. It's fine for Texas Tech, but it ain't fine for everybody. That's the point I'm trying to make. How would the money be split? One slide presentation shows the Big Ten receiving a significant amount more money than the SEC. When using the current distribution, the Big Ten's TV deal is more lucrative. But Campbell says that wouldn't necessarily be the case. He envisions each SEC and Big Ten school earning $40 to $50 million more than they do now. The Big 12 and ACC schools earning around $30 million or more, and those in the group of 6 earning as much as $14 million extra. Everyone makes more money. A certain percentage of it ought to be divided evenly and then based on viewership or on-field success, Campbell says. So he wants unequal revenue sharing. So the gap really doesn't close here. 40 to 50 million. ACC and the Big 12 earning 30 million. So it doesn't close. The gap doesn't close. So, but again, he envisions SEC and Big Ten school earning 40 to 50 million more. But he also envisions that this government entity, independent government entity that's going to be running everything, they're going to be able to switch up conferences. There ain't going to be a Big Ten anymore. There ain't going to be an SEC anymore. There ain't going to be this anymore. Nobody can promise that because this government entity will have the power to reorganize conferences. So this means nothing. Nothing. Now, this is an important part. While several high-level Big 12 and ACC administrators are, at the very least, interested in the media rights consolidation conversation, many of them want to see the SCORE Act first passed before tackling the Sports Broadcasting Act component. For obvious reasons, the two entities most publicly against consolidating media rights are, drum roll, the SEC and the Big Ten. They'd like to keep that advantage. And secondly, they'd rather not continue to subsidize lower resource programs. Why, said an official at one of the leagues. Is that our job? Now again, I will get back to this. For three years when I've had this YouTube channel, and before that, I've had so many comments in the comments section. So many comments saying, Greg, why does Ohio State make as much money as your Minnesota Golden Gophers? Wow, that's unfair to Ohio State. Ohio State should cut you away. Ohio State should dump you. The Buckeyes should leave you. And I've always said, maybe someday they will. Maybe someday the Buckeyes, Michigan, Penn State, they're going to leave the Big Ten. And maybe Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee leaves the SEC. And maybe the biggest brands form their own league. It could happen. It could happen. I've always said, the only thing I said, it wasn't going to happen in 2025, 2026. Could it happen in 2030, 31? Yes. Could we have a little bit of unequal revenue sharing in the Big Ten? I said yes. The last 2 years, I've said, yeah, we could see a little bit of an adjustment. But the same people, I'm sorry, I got to be blunt, the same exact people who say, Greg, there are teams in the SEC, teams in the Big Ten that are not worth as much as the top of the SEC and the top of the Big Ten, but they want this. They say this is fair. That Ohio State, Michigan, Alabama, Georgia, and the top schools should subsidize everybody. 70 schools, 80 schools. Now that's fair, they say. That should be done, they say. But the Buckeyes should not help out Big Ten conference mates over the last 100 years. That's not good, Greg. But if they support us, it's all good, Greg. That has been going on for 3 years. Here's the thing. I want to get back to this. No, I don't want to get back to this. I want to get to the most ridiculous part of this. Okay? This is the most ridiculous part of this plan. House Majority Leader, Republican from Louisiana, Congress isn't looking to come in and break up contracts already negotiated between parties. But Campbell says there's an easy solution here. Just allow those contracts to expire and bridge any gaps with private equity money. Private equity money. Private equity money to buy out those contracts. Who is going to be owing on those private equity money? Who's going to be owing that money? The schools that are getting out of the ACC contract early? Your Florida State, your Clemson, your Wake Forest, we're going to be using private equity money to bridge the gaps on the contracts? There are more questions, and I've asked these questions. What if schools, despite the additional TV money, continue to defund Olympic sports programs that lose millions? Well, Campbell said there would be a federal mandate in any congressional legislation requiring schools to maintain their current level of support. A federal mandate to maintain their current level of support. There are schools in some of these conferences that make a whole lot of money, but they only sponsor 18, 17, 16 sports. And there are schools now that sponsor in the 20s, in the 30s. And they're doing all they can to support their Olympics. And they can't even make decisions. Like Boston College, they do all they can. I think they support like 25, 26 teams. You are going to federally mandate that they can't make any moves in their athletic department? That decision's going away from them? Are you serious? Ohio State sponsors 35 sports. This is unbelievable. Again, if you support it, I'm going to listen to you. You're going to put down your comments. I'll take your phone calls. But this is a government-controlled Super League. So we can finally call it what I've always thought it was. And I've said it over and over on this channel. And now we got the evidence. And this is why the details have been smothered. Because here's another part. Ross Dellinger, there's something else. What if the SEC and the Big Ten use the opening of the Sports Broadcasting Act to merge themselves and strike a consolidated media rights package? What's stopping that? Says one congressional staff member. What is stopping that? I'll get back to that in a second. So as the games are played on the field, off-the-field disagreements continue on a future for the industry. Group of Republican senators continue to hold discussions over the introduction of a similar college sports bill, but Democrat support thus far has not been attained. And while House leaders have paused talks over the SCORE Act, they are likely to restart the conversation soon enough. At the center of the debate will undoubtedly be a key question. Will the NCAA and conferences control the future of the sports, or will a new government-created agency? We finally got there, ladies and gentlemen. Finally got there. That's the debate. Schools and conferences controlling, or a new government-created agency. Let's get back to this, and then I'm going to go through your comments, your super chats, and your phone calls. There's something else. We're going to go through this one more time because I got something to say about it. What if the SEC and the Big Ten use the opening of the Sports Broadcasting Act to merge themselves and strike a consolidated media rights package? Okay. This is why, in my opinion, this is why this plan is not about saving anything. Because the emphasis of this plan, the messaging is, if we do this, we're all going to make a whole lot more money and we're going to save our Olympic sports. And we're all going to get paid more money and everything's going to be fine. We're going to go back to our regions. Travel's going to be less. It's all going to be great. Cody Campbell in, I forget the name of his organization, Saving College Sports. They want to get they want to be able to flip over that Broadcasting Act of 1961 so conferences can consolidate, pool their content together and sell it as one. But he does not want that to be a standalone. He wants that to happen and to have the power under this new government agency. He does not want one without the other. Because if they do the 1961 Broadcasting Act as a standalone, and the power still remains with the conferences and the schools, that means the SEC and the Big Ten legally now can bundle up their content together and sell it. And that gap would even explode even more, according to experts. Cody Campbell doesn't want that to happen. So it's not about the money. Cody Campbell doesn't want the Big 12 and the ACC to be able to merge their content together and sell it and have more leverage and make more money. Not without this new government agency having all the power. And why is that? Because the plan ultimately, if you read his letter, if you read these edits that were amendments to the SCORE Act, if you read it all together, it's all about a Super League government takeover. Every part of it. Every part of it. Every single part of this. Without the government takeover, none of this works. Without the government takeover, according to Cody Campbell, none of it works. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. I'm against it. I do not want the government coming in and making determinations on conferences and divisions and figuring out the Minnesota Golden Gophers schedule. I got a different perception than a lot of you do, right? So I'm going to respect your perception. I'm going to respect your opinion on it. But I got to tell you, man, this is exactly what I feared. It's about control. Cody Campbell went out publicly and said that Greg Sankey was bullying these other conferences. This is a bully job. This is the ultimate power grab. This is the ultimate pulley. This is saying, well, I do not like how things have worked out, so we are going to have a government takeover. That's what this is. This is like Michigan has all this resources. Alabama has all this resources. And it's not fair. We want more of their resources. We want to close the gap. Well, I'm gonna give you a little hint. Even if you're in the Big Ten and the SEC, they're still gonna have they still have the advantage. You're not gonna be able to close that advantage with government control. To have private equity to come in and buy and to solve the contract issues with the media companies. Do you want a government agency running college football just to make sure everything is even, Steven? Let me know. Let me know. My goodness. And G5, G5 schools, are you sure you're included in this? It looks like you're going to make a little bit more money, $14 million more, but are you sure you're going to be able to make money on the scheduling? Because right now, Western Michigan and Buffalo and Bowling Green, you work with a lot of Big Ten institutions to make sure you get those schedules Make sure you make $1 million in this game. Are you sure, G5, G6, that this government entity is going to be looking out for you? Now that the power has been taken away from the SEC and the Big Ten, are you sure this is a better spot for you? Expedition Greg, thank you for the $5 holla. Appreciate it. I got the Brett McMurphy article. Kansas State, Kansas, Arizona State matchup, London. Yeah, there's going to be more and more international events, as we've been saying here at Peek Around the Corner. The Big 12 is looking to, they're looking to push their brand globally. They're looking for it. They're looking at sponsorships. They're giving the Big 12 a lot of money to do these games. Michigan and Western Michigan are going to get a lot of money to do the game in Germany. The people who have set this up looked at other conferences and other schools, but the decision, the Big 12 really wanted this to happen, so they got it done. I just can't wait for a government entity to make all these decisions, right? Because the Big 12 won't be able to make these decisions anymore, because it's all got to pass through some government entity. Thank you, Expedition Greg. Appreciate it. Kenneth Maynard. Elon University. Super Chat. Queens University. Merging. Appreciate it, Kenneth Maynard. Yep. They're merging their enrollment 2026 to almost 10,000. Are we going to see more of that? More merging of schools? I think we will. I don't think we're going to see a mad rush towards it, but I think we will. In the next 10 years, more and more universities are going to be merging, the smaller ones. Thank you, Kenneth Maynard, for your generosity. I do appreciate it so very much. Kerry Gold Knows, thank you for the $10 holla. Anytime you have a $2 billion industry, you can bet your bleep the governments will get its paws all over it. I'm actually for it after what my nose had to deal with. Thank you, Kerry Gold Knows. I appreciate it. I appreciate your generosity once again, sir. Kerry Gold Knows may be for this thing. Ryan Willie, thank you for the $5 holla. Didn't the conferences sue to make their own deals in the 1980s? Welcome to communism? Yes, they did. They wanted to make their own deals. But what is good is now bad. What was bad is now good. The cycle of life. Thank you, Ryan Willie. Appreciate it. Kenneth Maynard, Wake Forest enrollment is growing. They just announced free tuition for accepted North Carolina students whose parents make less than $200,000 starting in 2026. Wow. Free tuition. North Carolina, the state of North Carolina students whose parents make less than $200,000. That is a big news. Big news. Thank you, Kenneth Maynard. Thank you for the $5 holler. I do appreciate it. We are going to open up the phone lines. I know all of you are sick and tired of hearing me talk. You want your voice heard. Elliot Howard, the government should get involved only when teams try to cheat, since it's a business now. Esmetox, no way the SEC and the Big Ten fall for this. Half the states will be against it. Whoa, now Greg is threatening small schools. I don't know where you get your stuff, Yogi. I don't know if you're a troll. I don't know where you get your information, but you are on the border, my friend. I see your comments. I see you called me a Big Ten mouthpiece today. A Big Ten mouthpiece. Yogi, let me look straight into the camera so you can figure this out. There is nobody in this chat room. Nobody. I'm betting that. I don't know for sure, but I'm betting that there is nobody in this chat room that is person non grata like I am when it comes to the Big Ten corporate offices. No, everybody here has a shot to get a media pass to go to the Big Ten, except for one person. You're looking at him. So I know you get off by trolling, you get off by taking personal shots at me, but you don't know what the hell you're talking about. I am nothing like a Big Ten mouthpiece. You can be for this. You can say Big Ten sucks. You can say Minnesota sucks. But if you accuse me of being anybody's puppet or mouthpiece, you are gone. This is your last warning. I rarely hide anybody on this channel, but I will with constant trolls. Okay, Devil Frog, you're on the border too. That's because you're singing great. This is a bully job, says a fan of a conference trying to block everyone out. I guess the alternative is watching Ohio State chop the dead weight in the Big Ten. Greg says the Buckeyes want to leave the Little Ten. Oh, God. The Big Ten has been a Tier 3 conference for the last 100 years outside of the Ohio State Buckeyes. Now that they are the second best conference, they want to burn everything down. Can you give details to that? Why does the Big Ten want to burn everything down? Why does the Big Ten want to burn everything down? I'm just asking, why does the Big Ten... Has the Big Ten been ruthless? Yes. Have they acted on their own interest? Yes. Are they the only conference that has done it? No. Did the Big Ten gamble on the Big Ten network? Yes. Did they gamble in giving Fox all that power that they got over the conference? Yes. Did the Big Ten gamble in spending all that money to create the Big Ten network? Yes. Did the Big Ten make a mistake when they added Rutgers in Maryland? Was it stupid of them to add Penn State? Was it really dumb for them to add Nebraska? Was it horrific when they added USC, UCLA, Washington, and Oregon? Did the Big 12 make all these evil moves? The Big 12 making all these international agreements. Is that evil for the Big 12 to do that? Is the Big 12 trying to burn things down? Or are they trying to grow opportunity, money for their institutions and their student athletes? I am not for the 4-4-2-2 model. I'm against it. I think the playoff format's got to be bigger. I think the Big 12 and ACC have to have more than 2 auto bids. Big Ten fans can't stand in the heat in the kitchen for 5 minutes when the Big 12 has stood in it for 4 years. Greg actually likes the small conferences in schools. He's constantly sticking up for them. I don't want to break away. I want more playoff access. Look, I'm being transparent. So take the shots. I'm going to open up the phone lines here in 30 seconds. I'm being transparent. I do not want a government agency running college football. Don't want it. As imperfect as the NCAA has been, as imperfect whatever governing body takes over, it's going to be imperfect. I just don't like the idea of we only can give an antitrust exemption to a congressionally controlled corporation. I'm sorry, I'm just not built that way. I'm not. I can't even fathom it. I cannot fathom these conferences and athletic departments, these schools basically not having really any more decision making in their own hands because it's all going to be run by this government agency. This is a government controlled, this is Super League government takeover of college football. That's what the plan is. Now, if you disagree with my assessment of it, okay, I will like to hear your comments and phone calls, but that's what it comes down to. This government entity would have the power to do all this stuff, to reorganize conferences. This is what Cody Campbell wants. Let me ask you a question. And again, I have no personal issues with Cody Campbell in that he has all the freedom and ability to push this idea. If he wants to spend his money on congressional campaigns to get these amendments in, I'm all for that freedom, my man. I'm all for that freedom. Cody Campbell has every right to do what he's doing. Just like when he spends money on NIL, he has every right to do it. However, I've got every right to say, well, Cody Campbell, you've got a lot of advantages over other gas and oil companies, right? Right? I'm guessing you have made great decisions. You are very successful in your business, right? Some of it was because of the decisions you made. Some of it because maybe you had some advantages that are really because of something else going on. But you have great advantages over a whole lot of other people, right? Are you sharing those gas and oil advantages with other companies, with other people? You want a government agency to make everything more competitive, everything more equal? You want to save the gas and oil industry by giving everything away, making more equal? I bet you're not. I bet you haven't proposed any of that. But somehow, the only way to save college sports is a government agency to be the governing body. I'm going to have to agree to disagree with Cody Campbell, that organization that he is running. I'm going to get to the phone calls in 20 seconds, but I'm going to say this. This is what I have talked about for the last month. I did not know for sure, but remember, I've talked about this like 10 different times. It seems that everything that Cody Campbell and other people that agree with him It all leads to a government takeover, a super league, a stripping of the conferences, the stripping of the conference networks, the stripping of they have the power to do anything, everything, scheduling, negotiations, money, playoffs. They have all the power in a government agency. That's where everything was heading down, and now we got the answer. That is exactly what Cody Campbell wants. If you support it, great. I'm gonna let you have the floor. But that's what this is. Now we know for sure that this is what it is. I'm going to open up the phone lines right now. 763-260-1333. 763-260-1333. Give me a call. Give me a call. Let me know what you think.
From
Evil Badger.
Evil Badger, can you hold on for one moment, please?
Yes.
MBM, Washington and Maryland. MBM, Rutgers versus Ole Miss. What if you had this Super League and you're going to cut up all these schools into the regional divisions, what kind of games are you going to get? Are you going to get a whole lot better games? Like, there are not going to be a whole bunch of games that you're going to be able to sit there and mock what type of game it is? Because this government agency is so smart and they can regionalize everything and they can make all these... I mean, do you know why the Rudy Project, they projected that they would make so much more money if it was a Super League instead of these conferences? Basically, what Cody Campbell is promoting, it wasn't just because all these 70 schools would negotiate under one umbrella. Read the Rudy Project, sponsored by Jack Swarbrick. The reason why they believed everybody would make more money is because the Super League would not be allowed to play anybody in the G5 conferences. They would not be allowed to play anybody in the FCS. That's how they got the projections of, oh, we're going to have better games because we're going to cut out all these other schools. Is that what you really want? Is that saving college sports? Go ahead, Ryan Willie. The floor is yours.
Okay, Greg. Thanks for taking my call. A couple quick things before I get to my main thing. It was just announced that Wisconsin will face Virginia Tech in 2031 and 2032.
Yeah.
2031 is supposed to be in Charlotte.
Yep.
And 2032 it's supposed to be in Madison. And one of the podcasts earlier today took a poll of Wisconsin fans.
Yeah.
In about 10 minutes, they had 60 votes, and 100% of them said that they did not have confidence in Fickle.
What was the percent?
100%.
100% out of how many votes?
60 votes.
I can't believe that, but go ahead.
Now everybody's comes to the realization that if they lose to Maryland, he's lost the locker room. So he's lost his players.
Yep.
But one thing that I really want to talk about is these Big 12 fans that blame the Big 10 for breaking out of the Pac-12. do you need a history lesson? The Big 12 did their fair share of tearing apart the Pac-12. And I don't want to live in a communism. This is what the Rudy Project is. It's everyone gets a fair share. What, everyone gets a participation trophy or ribbon? Sorry, Greg. I'm just.
Nah, I get it. I get it. Yeah.
You're not. You're like going back to the future.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Minnesota and Wisconsin are in the same conference as Ohio State and Michigan. And there is a revenue gap, a resource gap, a recruiting gap that can never be made up. And if you brought in Big 12 schools and ACC schools, and it is the exact same thing would happen to them, with a few exceptions like a Florida State and Clemson. It's like if we do this Super League, suddenly everyone's going to be closer to the Buckeyes in Michigan. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. You just want a government agency to have the control instead of schools and conferences. Anything else, Ryan Willie?
No, I just wanted to vent because everyone's seeing that. This is a good thing for college football. The heck it is. But thanks for taking my call, Greg.
You got it, buddy. Appreciate it. Great call.
Bye.
Great call. Thank you, Ryan Willie.
Call from
Flint Rock Inspection Services.
to
Flint Rock, can you hold on for a moment?
Sure, yes, sir.
Kerrygold knows. Greg, do you think the government would have let Florida State get screwed out of the playoff spot? I don't think so. I don't even know how to answer that. I'm so so we're going to have the government run, they call it, we're going to have them decide the 5+11 as well. I don't know what to say, but my answer is yes. Yes. I think Florida State would have gotten screwed no matter what, because that government agency would be filled with ESPN. I'm just joking. I don't know. You know how to answer that. Kerrygold knows. I do not have. Look, I'm not an extremist. I believe we need government for, constitutional things and, that. But I'm befuddled. I can't comprehend this. Yes, the government would have screwed Florida State, maybe in that particular case, but somewhere else down the line. Thank you for the $5 holla. What is your name, sir? The caller.
Flint Dog 8208.
Oh, Flint Dog. Thanks for calling, sir. I appreciate it. Go ahead, sir. The floor is yours.
Yes, sir. I listened to you. I followed you for like 10 years so far, bro. So
I appreciate it, sir. You got a lot of patience. I tell you that.
No, you good, bro. Well, I just want to just start out with the Big Ten has been together for over 100 years. It seems like these other fan bases that's not the SEC have some type of jealousy in their heart for the Big Ten. It's just the way they portray themselves, especially in your chat right there. Okay, let's go back a little bit in history. The ACC broke up the Big East. Okay, they did that. no complaints. We all good. Texas and Oklahoma, you pretty much broke up the old Big 12 because Nebraska, Missouri, and Colorado left because of Texas. And then a few years later, Texas, Oklahoma went to the SEC. Not a peep. But when USC and UCLA say we're going to the Big Ten, RHELL break loose. And then you kept telling them Oregon and Washington will come with them eventually. Now they're more upset. It seems like these guys that got left behind in the Big 12 and the ACC have jealousy in their heart because they wasn't picked. Be mad at your school for not investing in football and in academics over the lifespan of that university. Don't be mad at Big Ten. Don't be mad at Minnesota, Iowa, Michigan State, Ohio State. They invested in heavy research. These other schools ain't doing it. They invested in their sports programs. The other schools not doing it. And plus, if you look at the map of the NFL, look at the college schools that have big fan bases. NFL states, or most of them, or a lot of them. I ain't going to say most, a lot of them. And that's all I had to say, sir.
Hey, by the way, Flint Dog, you're a Michigan fan, right?
Go Blue.
Go Blue. Okay. Look, if Michigan is the quintessential Big Ten university. Huge university. Huge alumni base. Huge in researching. Gigantic brand. Internationally known. Unbelievable valuable. If Michigan wants to leave the Big Ten 5 years from now, if the Buckeyes want to leave the Big Ten, Penn State want to leave the Big Ten, they want to leave the Big Ten to join Alabama and Georgia, whatever, you know what they're going to do? Michigan's going to lead the Big Ten. That is Michigan's choice, not a government entity choice, not even a Minnesota Golden Gopher choice. It's Michigan's choice, just like USC had the choice, just like Texas had the opportunity. That's my point. I mean, it's like, this isn't like a protection of the Big Ten. I'm not calling for another 100 year of the protection of the Big Ten. I'm calling out for universities and conferences to have control over their own destiny and to do what's best for them, just like everyone else has been doing. That's what this is all about.
Yeah. One other thing, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. A little toe in politics, not a lot. But every election cycle, you get Democrats who say, well, the rich people need to pay more. And then you have the Republicans saying, no, get out of our lives. You don't do that. Why is it good now?
Yeah.
Why is it perfectly fine for this billionaire and all his cronies wanting to take from the Big Ten, break them up basically, the SEC? Don't worry about them. They cool, but we got our eyes on the Big Ten.
That's what
because they NFL cities. They're NFL states.
Yeah.
That's too much money. But it's socialism when it's in politics, but it's okay when it's in college sports. They invested over 100 years into their institutions, their academics, and their athletics. Stop being jealous. Be mad at the people that ran your university. Be mad at them. Be mad at the state that those universities are located in because the state didn't tell them up your game. Be mad at them.
All righty, sir.
All right. Goodbye.
Beautiful call, my man. Call again.
Sir, yes, sir. Thank you.
You got it. And here's another thing. I mean, there are like Boise State, right? Boise State, they've got this pretty good football brand. not the biggest market in the world, not highly academic credentialed university, but they've been very successful and all that. And they see this money gap between them and the Big 12, right? So is the Big 12 screwing Boise State because Big 12 hasn't invited Boise State? Is the ACC screwing South Florida because they've never? What about UConn that has won all these basketball? Are they being screwed by the Big 12 and ACC?
From
Canes fan 1993.
I'm sorry. What was your name again?
Canes fan 1993.
All right, go ahead, sir. The floor is yours.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. I hope you brought your Kevlar today. You're getting beat up a little bit.
That's fine. That's what this show is for. I'm glad we're having the conversation. Go ahead, let it rip.
I got a question for you. Did you pick Florida this week or did you pick Miami?
I picked Miami.
So we're going to have to beat the refs and you too. All right. That's good to know. I appreciate that.
I'm going to be Greg the Gold this week, so don't worry about it, Hurricane. Do not worry about it.
I just want to make sure you got a little laugh a little bit. We get too serious sometimes. Got to go back to enjoying this a little bit. I love your show. I just wanted to call in because, obviously I'm from Florida and, we feel a certain type of way of things, but the government coming in and taking over college sports, not even talking about football, but the entire enterprise.
Yeah.
I don't understand, they can't get everybody to agree on who the president of the University of Florida is going to be at the state level, let alone now you're going to be at the national level, and you expect Iowa and representatives from Florida, Republicans, Democrats to all get along and understand, hey, this is what the budget should be for a tiny private school like Miami versus a giant state school like Michigan. Yeah. And, hey, these are the sports we're all going to offer because Lord knows all these conferences don't sponsor the same number of sports across there. So how do you balance that? Yeah. And now you're going to throw them into a geography. So what, Miami's going to play in a conference with Bethune-Cookman and Central Florida and FIU and FAU and Florida and Florida State? It doesn't make any sense.
And you can't drop any sports because the government agency controls that.
Right.
And by the way, if you add a sport, you're going to have to get that okayed because supposedly the government's going to pay for it somehow, some way. It's just
right. Exactly. Yeah, and listen, I'm an ACC school, right? And we're obviously in the Big East, so we have no loyalty to any conference. Yeah. But to go and hamstring a school because they ended up in the right place when, a lot of these schools are trying to get there. I know Miami's doing everything in their power to get into the Big Ten from everything that we hear from down here. It doesn't make any sense to me. Why? Because we made missteps, and instead of moving from the Big East, should have gone to the SEC when we had the chance in the 90s, et cetera. And now we're going to go and take out other programs? No, you've got to strive to be better, continue to raise money, and perform on the field. They keep saying, right? Prove it on the field. You're now going to go ahead and who wants to watch Michigan play Mississippi State on a random Saturday that has no history and it doesn't make any sense. This is going to kill rivalries. Everyone thought, it's to preserve rivalries, one backyard brawl. You go geography, a lot of those schools haven't played each other in 50, 60 years. There's no rivalry there.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that Rudy Project, their plan on divisions, and they got the Gophers in the same division as Kansas State. No offense to Kansas State, but we haven't played Kansas State in 1,000 years. The divisions were ridiculous. It just was. It's look, I get it. NCAA morons, conferences morons. Everybody's a moron. Well, this government agency is going to be morons, but they're going to be morons making decisions far away from the University of Miami's campus. Far away from the University of South Florida's campus, far away from the University of Louisville's campus. That's where there's only one saving grace about this, sir. There's only one saving grace. This has no chance of happening. None. It can't happen. Go ahead, sir.
Well, and the last thing I'll say, and I'll let you go. These fans of these other schools better watch what they wish for, because what they think they're doing is take away power from these schools. But what they're going to do is push them to hit the red button and go to, like you keep saying, DEFCON 1. Well, now you cut them off, and now there is nothing to go and retreat to. Now you don't even have a chance to go to there because they broke off, and now there's a 40-team Super League somewhere else where they've taken all the resource and everything, and they say, hey, you can have your government-run entity, but you're not playing Michigan. Michigan's not a part of that association. I mean, the government's not going to be able to go in and mandate that all these colleges have to be there. It's not going to work that way. There's no way that all these powerful alumni bases will allow it to happen. So all you're going to do is push them into a corner to where they say, fine, now instead of playing, these big schools 1, 3 years, you're never going to play them again. You wanted a level playing field, and now you got it. You're cut out.
Yeah. Yeah. Great call, man. Please call again, sir.
I will. Have a good one.
Fantastic job.
Take care.
Fantastic job. Look, you know what? A lot of you disagree with me, and I'm good with that. I really am. A lot of you are going from at it with a good heart. You want more opportunities for everybody. So do I. I see a lot of people disagreeing, and that's what we do on this channel. We disagree. We throw a few kind elbows at each other. Roger Dodger is called lobbyist, Greg. Absolutely. There are forces on both sides and other sides that are lobbying for control. This is what I thought the plan was. But I wasn't sure. I said it out. I was being as transparent as possible. And this is college football's peek around the corner. This is a national college football show. I talk about things that I think are coming around the corner. And when it comes to realignment and things like this, and doors are open to us at Peek Around the Corner for over the last decade, we've been pretty successful. Am I successful at making picks against the spread? No, unfortunately. Once again, I am Greg the Cold, as always.
I know you told your friend you're not okay.
But things of this nature, I wish this wasn't the plan, but it is. It is the plan. No matter what wrapping paper you decide to use, no matter what color bow you want to bow tie this in, this is a Super League government takeover of college football. Does it have support? Yes, it does. Are there forces against it? Yes, there is. I happen to be against it. A lot of people in the PATC family are against it. A lot of you are for this plan. So we'll see what happens. But I'm very thankful that we find that Ross Dellinger, great reporting. We got the information. We know what Cody Campbell's plan is. And again, I'm going to say this. I've heard from people in the chat room, PATC family, a lot of people for it, a lot of people against it, a lot of people have questions. Since the Ross Dellinger article, talking about Cody Campbell's plan in detail, I haven't heard any college football reporter taking any comments about it, not taking any shots against it, because a lot of college football reporters want this to happen. I don't know, maybe I shouldn't go down that road on this live show, but I'm not going to do it because I don't want to mess up the messaging today. Yeah. Don Scruggs, I'm against it. I'm against everything. I'm using Greg the Gold wrapping paper that's filled with icicles. Greg, what happens when it blows around the corner? Yeah. Yeah. I don't want a breakaway, but this may push the P2 to do it. Yeah. And we're going to finish it up with that. That's the worst part about it, is not that this is going to succeed, but it's going to... This is not... there is no way in hell that the P2 conferences, they're not gonna. Yeah. I don't want to break away either, but we're not at DEFCON 1 yet. We're not at DEFCON 1 yet. We're not. We're sitting at DEFCON 2. I would like to be able to announce at PATC that we're at DEFCON 3, that we're going to go backwards. We're going to cool it off a little bit, but I can't do that either. This is definitely DEFCON 2 territory. No question about it. A lot of you, Greg being an alarmist. What do they call me on X and on message boards? Greg is gaslighting. Greg is gaslighting the issue. They said that I was gaslighting the issue 3 or 4 months ago. But now it's gone exactly the way we thought it was going to go, but even a little worse. Anyways, I want to thank you all for joining us. I do appreciate it. Christopher Hooter, I'm with you, Greg. Government takeover is a terrible idea. Gorb, when behind, watch Greg at 2 times the speed if you want to be entertained. Thank you, Gorb. I've heard that before. Thank you, Gorb. Thank you so much. You are officially knighted, cloak and dagger. What I did fail to do today, because of this monster issue, is we released episode 60 of Early Peak Cloak and Dagger for members only. We released that early yesterday morning. Go check it out for members. So Gorb, you are a new member. Go check out episode 60 of Early Peak Cloak and Dagger. For those who are not a member, who want to become a member of our channel, just go to the link in the description box below the video, hit that link and become a member, and you can watch that early Peak Cloak and Dagger episode. Tomorrow, during our live show, if we don't get swamped with another big breaking news in college sports, we are going to be talking about that Early Peak Cloak and Dagger episode 60, and we're going to talk about it live for everybody. Okay, because I know a lot of people don't have $4.99 to become a member. So whatever we talk about in those members only episodes, we have 2 types of episodes. Episodes for everybody, in which we've done like 460 of those. And Early Peak Cloak and Dagger episodes, where at times we give a little bit of nugget of information to the members, paying members. We are, once again, what we talk about in an Early Peak Cloak and Dagger episode, we are going to talk live for everybody to discuss, talk about, and we are going to do that tomorrow. So, I apologize because I told you all yesterday that we were going to talk about episode 60 on today's live show. But I had to give enough space to this Ross Dellinger article because this is massive. And so I apologize. We'll talk about it tomorrow. We'll talk about college football tomorrow and everything else under the sun. So I want to thank you all for joining us. Great phone calls. Thank you for the donations. Thank you for the comments. Please, if you're new to the channel or if you haven't done it yet, please subscribe to our channel. Smash the like button if you like our content. Share the video with your family and friends. Word of mouth. Let them know there's a national college football YouTube channel out there that is not afraid to talk about the biggest issues in college football and not afraid to talk about the 3rd string left tackle on the Georgia Bulldogs. So that is what we do here. We talk about everything in college football because we love everything in college football. Until next time, from all of us at PATC, to all of you, please you all take great care of each other. And as always, God, family, Golden Gopher.